Sometimes life gets heavy in ways we didn't expect, not because of one big tragedy, but because of many small things that slowly pile up. A disappointment, a broken plan, a relationship that didn't turn out the way we hoped. And without even noticing it, we start doing something very human. We cover those things up and keep moving. We stay busy, distract ourselves, and tell ourselves it's fine. But little by little, those hidden things pile up until one day it feels like we are carrying too many stones inside our hearts. Hi, I'm Father Bob. Welcome to the Sunday Table, a brief moment with the Gospel for the week. And if this reflection speaks to you, feel free to subscribe and share. A lot of people today are carrying something. You see it everywhere. People look fine on the outside, but inside they are tired. Tired of uncertainty, tired of the constant noise of the world, tired of trying to keep everything together. Some people carry regret, some carry grief, some carry quiet fears about the future. And when life becomes too heavy, we often deal with it in a very simple way. We try to bury it and move on. We push the disappointment aside and we avoid the difficult conversation. We tell ourselves that time will take care of it. But the truth is, those things don't really disappear, they slowly pile up like stones placed one on top of another. That's why the gospel story of Lazarus speaks so deeply to real life. Lazarus lies in a tomb sealed behind a heavy stone. And in many ways, that tomb becomes a symbol of those places in our lives where hope seems buried. His sisters said to Jesus, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." You can almost hear the disappointment in those words, but the gospel gives us a small detail that changes everything. When the sisters send a message to Jesus, they do not simply say Lazarus is sick. They say, "Lord, the one you love is sick." Lazarus is not defined by his illness or by the tomb, but by the love that Jesus has for him. The same is true for us. Before anything else, before our struggles, our failures, or our doubts, we are the ones Christ loves. So Jesus stands in front of the tomb and says something surprising. "Take away the stone." And then he calls out with a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out." The writer Victor Hugo once said, "Even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise." And C.S. Lewis wrote something very similar. Hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. Sometimes what looks like the end is not the end at all, but the place where God begins something new. Maybe there's a stone in your life right now, a fear about the future, a disappointment you still carry, a wound that has not fully healed. The message of this gospel is simple and deeply hopeful. God is not afraid of our tombs. He stands right in front of them. And even today, Christ still speaks the same words with quiet power. Come out. Because when Christ calls someone out of the tomb, the story is never finished. Life begins again. Thanks for joining me at the Sunday table. Until next Sunday, keep the gospel close and let it shape your week.